So I'm going to keep recording and compiling all the news stories I can find about how just terrible black girls and children are treated in the black community. In this case here, it looks like the parents were away or at work, and the girl was home with her younger brother, and 3 thugs from the neighborhood raped this little girl. They were teenagers. And I say, black moms, if you are the mothers of sons, please, please, please don't look the other way when you hear them listening to these terrible rap music that denigrates women. Call them all kinds of bitches and hoes and people to be hurt and raped and molested and just the most horrible. Don't turn away when you hear them listening to music like that, or even hear them speaking like that, calling women bitches, calling them hoes. This my side hoe. This is this, and you all just okay with that language. The change in the black community starts with the female. It always has. Now, there's a lot of black men who say that we are in this predicament because we need to learn to choose better, and I agree. We need to learn not to choose someone because they act nice. Open our legs to them because they're nice. I was listening to this radio program. Oh, they're nice at first until they get what they want, and then they show their ass. But I was listening to this radio program about, and you know, every day they have this like dilemma on the radio program. And this dilemma, this sister was with her man for 15 years. 15 years. 4 kids. And after 15 years and 4 kids, she finally realized that he wasn't going to marry her. And was calling on the radio show to figure out what she should leave him alone or not. But she was worried about leaving him because she had 4 kids. And what man is going to want her with 4 kids? So I was encouraged to hear that the women who were calling in was telling her, girl, if he ain't married you by now, he don't want to marry you. He's not the man for you if you want a marriage. You should have stopped after 1 kid when you found out he wasn't going to marry you. And there are plenty of men out there who will marry you with kids. And they were advising her to leave him and go on about her business because she was on the fence. She didn't know whether to just keep on living in that situation or, you know, cut ties with him and find the kind of life she wants to live. And I was encouraged to hear the women telling her to go find the life that she wants to live, because you only live once. So the state of the black community has always been in the hands of the woman. Okay? So we can choose to keep choosing the wrong types of men because we are so committed to being with just one race of man. Continue to produce these children like these 3 boys who committed this heinous crime. Continue to let this rap music and all this disgusting music where women are portrayed as bitches and hoes played in our sons' ears and let them sing it like it ain't nothing, like they're just drinking a glass of water, and not correct them. Let them have all kinds of women, let them do anything they want to do, and then wonder why the state of the black community is the way it is. I want to know where the mama of these 3 boys were. And if the crime, if they were picked up for the crime, would these mothers stick with these rapists and say, no, not my boy, not my son, so they can go, and I'm glad the woman in this, she picked up and she moved her daughter away again. Because at that point, they need to protect the child. And that child's going to need a whole lot of therapy. But this is what's going on in the black community. So all these people shouting Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. What about this life? And I didn't hear any uproar about this.
Diana, this is a family of 7 who moved into what they thought was a safer neighborhood near I-94 and Whittier on the east side of Detroit. They'd only been there a couple of weeks. Then suddenly on Tuesday morning, while both mom and dad were at work, the 17-year-old made some frantic calls. Mom needed to come home because the 12-year-old was missing. Listen now to the mother as she got home to find her little girl walking away from an abandoned house just 2 doors away.
She come walking out of 2 doors down, out of the side of the house. Shirt dirty, all in the bag, a little tear on the side. And I'm like, where were you? And then I see 3 young teenagers coming off the side of the house as well. And she was like, just start crying. And I'm like, what's the matter? And she was like, I don't want to talk. And I'm like, what's the matter? And then her dad was like, you tell me what's going on, Then the guys started walking away from where they were standing at. And she started telling us what happened. And I said, what, shocked, like, what? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, and they told me not to tell because if I tell, that they will kill my brother. Then I came home and I called the police. I waited around for the police for maybe an hour. They never showed. I took her to receiving, and they done everything there. And then they called the police, and that's the first time I talked to the police, maybe 9 o'clock at night.
Why the decision to move?
I want to feel safe. I want her to feel safe.
Safety is the key right now because the family believes the suspects are still in that neighborhood. And yes, there are questions as to why police didn't show up on Tuesday when they got the call, when the suspects may have been just a half a block away and could have been swept up or at least questioned by police. And that's where we are at this hour, waiting for answers from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. Reporting downtown, Bill Proctor, Channel 7 Action News.
So, Bill, we have reached out to the police department, but at this point they have not been able to respond. It seems a simple question. Why not faster response to such a horrific crime?
Well, there is, in fact,
because she black.
Questions here, but the early explanation has to do, apparently, with a new process of investigation. Apparently, through the prosecutor's office, there's something called Teen Talk, where a special team of prosecutors has to talk to the teenage victim in this case before the police department does. We don't know what that's all about. So far, we've been waiting for a number of answers, but the problem here is that these folks not only called when they found out there was a crime, but the very next day, one of the suspects appeared across the street from their home, apparently taunting the father in this case. And so they feel that it's clearly an unsafe situation. They needed to get out. They have, as of tonight. The problem now is to what the next steps should be from both the police department and this prosecutor's office special unit.
Just an incredible story on so many different levels. Bill Proctor, I know you'll be following it for us. Thank you very much.
Stop having these kids if you're not going to take care of them. That boy went back to that victim's home to taunt the family. That is a demon. Stop having these demon kids terrorize the neighborhoods if you're not going to take care of your body and yourself and your mind, you're having kids for Tom over here, Dick over there, Jamal over here, and these knuckleheaded boys are roaming the damn street, forming gangs and shooting up everywhere, raping and killing. Stop having these monsters. If you can't take care of them, and if you're not married to the man, keep your legs closed. This is insane at this point. And then anyone criticize what these monsters are doing in the community, you're the first one to jump up and march and say, oh, no, not them. This is racism. No, these are monsters. Only monsters do something like that. That girl's life, unless they get her some really good therapy, she's going to have no value of herself. And she's probably going to be repeating the cycle, the same cycle we see of black women having no value, thinking low self-esteem, carrying that hurt for the rest of her life. Because you treat rubbish like that. And that's exactly what they think of little black girls. So boys like this, I don't care when I see them, the police chasing them, because I know what kind of havoc they cause in the community. I said, let the good times roll, and let the boys in blue take care of these fools. But black women need to stop protecting fools like this. They really do. Sons or not. You produce them, they turned out to be monsters. You let them go into the monster cells where they belong. And if they're not going to live productive lives in the community, in society, then they need to be locked away. Or they can take care of each other like they're doing right now. So, I just thought this is another one of black girls just being treated like trash by people who are supposed to be protecting them, people who are supposed to have more sense of loyalty in terms of making sure they're safe and so forth. They either kidnapped her or lured her out of the house and gang raped the 12-year-old. But Black Lives Matter, right? I didn't hear any uproar and anything about this. I didn't hear any kind of marches about this. I didn't hear anything. But Black Lives Matter.